Well, hello and welcome back to episode 42 of this iteration of the podcast. My name is Sarah Thomas. You are listening to the Crystal Clarity podcast, and welcome. Thank you for checking in on this episode. I know those of you that are looking for deeper relationship and deeper connection and true transformation are the ones that probably opened this episode. So, hello to you. I am excited to share this with you. Today, we're going to talk actually about shamanism and stone medicine, and we're going to talk about stone allies, how to actually gain connection and relationship with stones. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how initiation and spiritual alchemy work in learning stone medicine, how they can work in learning stone medicine, connected to what we've learned from the ancient past, wisdom from the old ways. So, welcome. And before I dive in, I want to say that we are starting our live 9-week certification course in stone medicine soon. We start one in the fall every year. Right now, it's fall in Southern Appalachia, and things have shifted into that different energy. It feels really good. And we start one every spring. And these are live online 9-week certification courses where we go through 27 stones according to ancient Taoist texts and beyond. And not only do we learn the properties of these stones from really deep, true wisdom, things that you can't find on the internet, we also go through a process of personal transformation and alchemy. And so one of those starts soon. It's Enter the Cave. It's our fall program. And I just want to say that if you're a total beginner, and you're just drawn to stones and learning more about them, this course is a great place to start. And if you are somebody who is a licensed professional and, gets CEUs and works in their practice and healing, it's also a great place to dive into because what these certification courses offer is just deeper and more than you usually get. And if you like depth and you like really true connection, these are for you. So one of them is starting soon. Please come tune in. You can click the link below to sign up for the free class that opens up the Enter the Cave enrollment period. And that's a great place to start. If you're watching this way in the future, you'll just have a link to our website below, which will show you when the next certification course opens and potentially you can join that one. So Enter the Cave begins soon. And let's dive into the episode today. So I really feel like, y'all, there's 3 levels through which we can experience and learn. And the first, most superficial level is learning concepts. And an outer teacher can teach us concepts. We can learn concepts through books. We can learn concepts, through what other people experience and tell us. And we can gain concepts through science and understanding. And concepts are things where we say something like, because this stone is yellow, it does this, right? That's a concept. And then if you go to a deeper level below that, there is a level where we can learn and experience. It's deeper than that. And it's a level where potentially you're learning concepts, but you begin to read between the lines. And a really good teacher can take you here. They'll share with you things where there's these openings between the lines where you can kind of insert yourself and your own life and see yourself in these concepts and say, you know what, I actually had that experience, or I hear these concepts and I had a different experience, but I can see how it relates. And what's happening between the lines opens up your examination of you and it gives you a deeper presence with yourself. And that's awesome. It helps you find your own stories and it helps you find your own wisdom. But there's even a deeper level than that. And this third deeper level is a level of direct revelation. And direct revelation goes beyond concepts. It goes beyond anything an outer teacher could ever share with you. It even goes beyond your wisdom and the stories that you have gained, because it's about having relationship and connection and experience with something like a stone in the moment. Direct revelation happens in the present moment. And when you are alive with a living being that is a stone, right? We're going to use stones for an example because that's what we talk about. But this can be many nature spirits or different elements or forces of nature. But when you are in a living relationship with a stone, you see that it's also a living being. And one of the things that it will do is reflect you to you. And as a living being, it changes what it does. It might do this one day and it might do that another day, and it appears differently. It can guide you in different ways. It's not just something that does one thing or relates to concepts. It's alive in the moment, and you actually don't know what is going to happen or what will take place or what you need to do until you're in the present moment. And that's direct revelation. And teachers cannot teach you that. That's between you and the divine. That's always between you and the divine. And that layer for me is the layer of shamanism. And that layer is something for me that is the most exciting because I want to feel that connection that you feel at that level. And I think that's what we're all searching for, is that connection that goes beyond concepts, but you're living and experiencing a connection with something that is also part of this world. It's also so exciting to me because it's so mysterious. Nobody knows how to walk this path. It's just sometimes you just find yourself on it. Sometimes you just wake up to being awake and you realize you're in the present moment, and what is around you is alive and changing, right? So it's a very exciting level. I want to, open up that level with you today in this talk, and I want to start by talking about how a teacher might lead somebody to that level of direct revelation, or how initiates might walk that path. And so teachers need the initiate to change, right? Because what's going to change, say they're teaching them stone medicine, right? Or teaching them plant medicine. What is going to change the stones or plants and make them work is when the student, the initiate, awakens. And when the student awakens, the tools awaken. So we realize that we are the magical tool. When we awaken, that makes the tools alive in our hand, because there's an exchange of aliveness between us and the tool. We give it our aliveness, it gives us its aliveness. So the teacher says, okay, my initiate needs to actually change and awaken in consciousness. So they would put them through stages of initiation. Intentionally induce stages of initiation, or stages of alchemy, or stages of change. So they'd say, let's set you on a journey so that you can change. So they really studied change, right? And they studied, in many ancient cultures, they study what makes a person change, and not just at the level of knowledge and not just at the level of wisdom, but at the level of consciousness. And this was a big study for them. And they would put them into certain places, right? And they would have them, like, for instance, it is said that mountains are the true laboratory. When you want to go to the laboratory, go to the mountains. And that is said because all of the living spirits exist in the mountains. There's more living spirits in the mountains than there are in other places. So you can go in and have all of these different, experiences with friends and teachers. So that's one way of looking at things. And of course, all different landscapes have their teachers and their nature spirits in them. And one of the reasons why in our class, we go, it's called Enter the Cave, because we're going within the mountain to learn the mysteries of the earth, to connect with the stones. So initiates would be taken to different places: caves, temples carved inside mountains, deserts, dark rooms, dark places, places where they could reflect, places where they could meditate, and places where they could really go within. So a lot about inducing change is helping the person go within. And a major factor about helping someone change also is you want them to start seeing themselves. So mirror practices, like to see yourself, are often really important in the beginning, middle, and end stages of initiation. Now, as these students are going through these stages of initiation, for example, you might put somebody through a stage of initiation about looking at their judgment and looking at their self judgment, right? What is important is that the initiate sees their self-judgment. They begin to see their self-judgment. The initiate cannot change their self-judgment because the self or the mind, ego, cannot change the self. It's like trying to offer a new level of consciousness from the same level of consciousness that created the problem. But the teacher can help them see the self-judgment. So they're in the process. The way that they do this is contemplation. Sometimes it's like, let's just look at this. Let's read these passages about this. Let's sit in meditation. Let's talk about it. So contemplation actually gets things moving. It helps the initiate to see. Meditation helps the initiate to see, to go within. There are certain inner alchemy practices that help the initiate see and go within. And a big one is journaling, right? The alchemy of writing down what is inside you. So a big process too in helping initiate change is to teach them how to keep a journal. And as they're going through these processes, say they're in a week looking at self-judgment, or a year of looking at self-judgment, or a whole series of rituals or ceremonies looking at self-judgment, they would be keeping a journal the whole time. And the teacher teaches the student how to keep the journal. And often the journal writing is induced by prompts that we call them at my school medicine questions, because my own mentor, uses that phrase. So medicine questions are given to the initiates for them to, write and journal just about their own lives and what's happening to them in the processes. And it's awesome because when you write from your heart, truly write like as the inner child in you would write and express, when you write from your own heart, the book becomes alive. We call it the alchemist child in Chinese medicine. It means like the wonder of your heart, the childlike aspect of your heart that's just honest, that's just, I feel like crap today. I feel like nothing is happening to me. I feel like nothing's going to happen. I feel excited because I get to go to the pool tomorrow. As long as you talk as a child, just really authentically from your heart, the book comes alive. It is wild. So these journals come alive. I mean, pages can appear and disappear. Things feel like they shift around in these journals. The book becomes alive. And the most wild thing about the journal is that the initiate can look back on this journal and they can find within it who their allies are in the natural world, because what they're writing in their journal is showing what they resonate with from what the teacher has said, from the dream that felt important to them, from the interesting thought that they had in meditation, the part of the ritual that touched them. What we write about is the part that we really resonated with. So the living book shows you your resonances, and you can see in the book, okay, so say I was working with obsidian during shadow work, and this part is really alive for me. You can see in the book, oh, obsidian is actually one of my allies in this lifetime. And then maybe you were working with celestite in another area and it was just not that alive for you this time around. So you would say, okay, that wasn't that alive. I don't have that much resonances about that. And then you go on and you're in the pyrite section. You're like, oh my gosh, as I was writing, I saw pyrite. It's come to me so many times in my life and somebody's given it to me. And then I had that experience with it. And you see, oh, pyrite is my ally in this lifetime. And then you might see, right, a plant is an ally in this lifetime, or a sacred site is an ally with you, or just a land is an ally with you in this lifetime, or something like a force or an element can be an ally with you in this lifetime, such as you might find that you have a resonance with electricity or lightning or fire or water or landscape or deep earth. You might find that you have these allyships with different elements and forces of nature, animals, right? It's all received through this journal. You find out what you resonate with. Now, when you're like, gosh, I feel like I've been through this process. I feel like I have like 6 or 7 stones here that are my allies in this lifetime. Some of them may be guardians for you. Some may be teachers for you. Some may be protectors for you. Some may be portal openers for you. Some may be like a wailing wall for grief for you. There's so many amazing things that stones can be and become for you that will surprise you so much how they ally with you. But now, once you know them, you start just spending time with them. So you start making, potentially, you can make offerings to them. And making offerings is so beautiful. It's like, it can be so simple and so lovely. If you make it sacred, what the offering is, you make it holy, what the offering is. So it can be, if you make this lavender tea that you really love, you just offer some to the stone. It's really what you're really inside of that's meaningful to you. It's not about finding some outer teacher that tells you that this land is supposed to have this thing. It's just what's really meaningful to you, that you feel is sacred, that you feel is holy. You can make little offerings to these allies. You just spend time, you connect with them. You can do inner alchemy practices with them, which we do in the certification courses like Enter the Cave or Temple of Stone. We learn how to open these stones within us or go into the field. Inner alchemy means like you go within. So it looks like meditation on the outside, but you're kind of doing things within, like visualizing. And we do these inner alchemy practices to spend time with them. It is also said that if you spend 7 minutes a day talking to something, you will form a bond so quickly with that thing. The more, I'm going to give you a quote by my own teacher. The more you can sense and perceive it, the more you can attain the qualities of it. The more you can sense and perceive it, the more you can attain the qualities of it. So the shaman spends time sensing and perceiving. Now, the shaman will also, they will, maybe you find orpiment in this one cave, right? So the shaman will go sit in that cave and just sit there and pretend they are orpiment. They will meditate as they are orpiment. Or maybe they will make a mask of orpiment or sit with the orpiment around them. They will pretend they are it so they can perceive it and sense it and even see through its eyes. And that connection is awesome because connection is resonance. Okay. So the more we build this connection, the more we gain resonance. And the more we gain resonance, the more there is information exchange. So guess what happens? It's like the quote that my teacher says, the more you can sense it and perceive it, the more you can attain the qualities of it. When resonance creates information exchange, I start to receive all the qualities and powers and gifts of this stone. And the stone starts to receive all the qualities and powers and gifts of me. And it's an exchange. It's not just me gaining the stone's power so that I might be able to call it in as a guardian or call it in as a master healer, but it's also gaining my qualities and the things that I have potentially cultivated over lifetimes. It's an exchange. It's so wonderful. It's like it gets what I have. It's an abilities exchange. And I get what it has. And this is like the journey to oneness, and we see within this that my frequency attracted all of these stones around me. These are some of my greatest allies right here. My frequency, I just held up 2 little smoky quartz crystals, by the way. My frequency attracted these, and these attracted me from all the way across the country. They drew me in, and I laid eyes on these. So the frequencies attract each other. And so that the stones around you are not around you randomly, that you attracted those to potentially be, start walking with them and start making connection with them. They may potentially be big allies for you. And when you're really working, right, in healing or grid work or elevating the world or healing animals or, working with increasing levels of consciousness or integrating trauma, you have these allies at your back that you can call in, and you truly trust them to come in. When I ask the stones for help, I feel like I have an army with me that I can truly trust that comes in. And that is special, that it's cultivation and it's wonderful. And I'm excited about that. It's like to be able to trust something in nature, to be able to trust something like that is just the most beautiful thing. And what ends up happening, and honestly, what the stones have taught me over all these years, like the deepest thing that they have embedded into my DNA. It's so deep, I can barely name it, but what they are embedding or weaving into my being is that I am a part of nature. I am not outside of it looking in, but I am one with them. And I am one with these plants and spirits and allies and mushrooms and elements and forces, that I am one with this world. Isn't that awesome? It's with the Taoists who started all these initiation practices. Ultimately, we're trying to tell us that we are one with this world. There's a difference though, and I get that as a concept, that I'm one with this world, but what if you start experiencing it? Like that third level of direct revelation, you start experiencing, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually one with this world. Oh, the self, the mind is like, oh, end game. And the self is based in separation. It's like, oh my God, being part of this world. It's like, it's the union and communion that is our birthright. It's so beautiful. So the initiate changes and they have a shift in consciousness, right? They see the self-judgment. That's our example of one of the stages we were working with. They, by seeing it, they just see and walk with it, do the contemplation and the journaling. The divine takes care of them transcending it. We cannot transcend it. We can see it. The divine will take care of transcending it, and the alchemy, right? The change and the level of consciousness. So what a cool way to wake up, to be part of nature, to gain relationship with these beings that you've already attracted in frequency. And another thing that my beautiful teacher reminds me is that science tries to understand these nature spirits and these forces so that it can manipulate them. Science tries to understand and gain the concepts so that it can change them and act the alchemy and change and transformation and manipulation. And there's a difference, though, between the path of the shaman or the walk of the shaman. We don't try to understand them so that we can change them. The shaman perceives and senses them. So there's a resonance and an information exchange that takes them into this ultimate state that is within the heart already of oneness. And the last thing I want to leave you all with is just, this is so important, is that we've got to, no matter how much we attain and sense, and that we attain and sense and grasp and perceive this ally that we're working with, we still have to leave so much room for mystery, because there's no end to the potential and the possibilities that these might bring. So you have to leave so much room for mystery. It's always mystery first, no matter how well you know it. Stay in the mystery, leave room for the mystery, feel and embrace the mystery. Don't try to poke all these holes in the mystery so that you have the concepts down and you can make a chart about all the things that it does. Leaving room for mystery is leaving room for direct revelation. It's leaving room for it to show up differently the next day. It's leaving room for it to actually really allow, you to allow it to guide you on your path. It leaves room for it to become a part of your soul evolution in a way that you could never have imagined. So, my friends, that is a little bit about stages of alchemy and change, and how it's so great to have a teacher, because a teacher can help you move through these different alchemical stages, which we do in our 9-week certification courses. We're moving through these alchemical stages and finding our allies. And a teacher is great because it can help you kind of bring some structure to that. Otherwise, you might be out on the mountain like, I don't even know where to begin, which is okay, because you're going through levels of initiation all the time in your life anyway, right? You're going through spiritual progression and stages of initiation every day anyway. But sometimes having a teacher and a container and like a process that you're walking through can bring a consciousness to it and awareness to it that really lights things up. Okay, that is a little bit about shamanism and stone medicine. Pick out the jewels, take what works for you and what resonated with you, and leave the rest behind. And I am so grateful I got to talk with you about that. I will see you in the next episode. Go ahead and click the links below if you want to join me in a 9-week certification course, because I feel like it's a whole different world inside the classes. And so join me in the cave. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.